Welcome back to another video, guys, and today, as you can see, I'm feeling on top of the world at the minute because I think things are going really well in school, they're going really well out of school, and I just feel like at the minute we're handling things quite well. Just generally everything's going quite good, so I'm feeling pretty good, so I hope you guys are too. Do let me know in the comments down below how you're doing at the minute, either in school or training to be a teacher, or generally how's your life going at the minute. I'd love to hear from you, and you know, what you're looking forward to over the next few months. Now spring has finally sprung. As you can see outside, it's been a lovely weekend today. You can see out there behind all the cameras and stuff, sun's gorgeous, looking really good. So yeah, I'm in a really positive mood at the minute, and today we're looking at a really, what I think can be quite a positive thing. Part of teaching is that you need to be able to work in a team. You have to be able to communicate well, you have to be able to work with people that are kind of ranked above you, ranked same level as you, below you, whatever the ranking is. You have to kind of look past those rankings and work as a team all together, because teaching's not a job where you can, you know, pass something down to someone below you or up to someone above you. Like in an office, you might say, oh, my manager can sort that out, or someone else can sort that out who I've been promoted up beyond that now. You kind of have to step in and just take on whatever appears in front of you and work with all sorts of different people in all sorts of roles. So today we're looking at, from a teacher's point of view, what you would look for in a senior leadership team. So I've got no experience of being a senior leader. I'm not a senior leader at all. I'm a classroom teacher, and at the minute that's where I'm happy. As a aspiring teacher, I always thought I'd want to end up being part of senior leadership or a head teacher or something. At the minute I'm just happy where I am. I don't really want to go up into that just yet because I think there's so much money to learn, but I do know the kind of things I look for, and I'm very lucky to work in a school. My senior leadership team is amazing. They're so supportive, they're so helpful, and I think all the things I'm going to mention that I'd look for in a school here are all things that come from my school. They're all things that I think my school does really well, and sadly I have to bring to other schools where they're not done quite so well, and it can be quite a not very nice environment if this isn't done very well. But at the minute with my school, and as it has been since I started there, they're really good. I'm really lucky to work there, so thank you very much to my senior leadership team. And hopefully if you guys are looking to get a job in a school, get a teaching job, and this is something you could look for when you go to an interview and kind of ask questions about to see what their ideas are and get an idea about what it's really like. So today we're looking at what a teacher could look for in a senior leadership team, and the first thing I think that's always so important is honesty. And that might sound like it's kind of a simple, obvious thing that you would need in any kind of situation, and I do agree with that. It is something you need, but sadly again, it's not something that is always the case in schools, and there can be times when senior leadership team aren't always honest about what's going off or the plans ahead and that kind of thing. And thankfully that's something I've never experienced, and as I said, my senior leadership team are always really good, and it's something I really value from them, is when something's not going right or when something's not quite the way they want it to be, they're honest with us and they'll just tell us, look, actually, can we sort that out? Can we work on that? Can we do something? And for me, I really value that, because I'm not someone who kind of likes to kind of bend around the truth and go around the bushes or whatever the saying is. I'm someone that, look, if something's not right, then just tell me and I'll fix it. So I appreciate that. And if you've watched my videos recently, one of the things I fixed in class recently was the standard of presentation in the maths book. So I'm gonna have a video coming out soon about how we did that and what kind of things that was for. And that wasn't something that I realised, that was something that my part of the senior leadership team said, actually, the quality of the work's good in the maths books, but the presentation just isn't quite up to scratch, and it's something that I had let slip. And you know, that was really good because they were honest with me, and they told me it, and within 2 days we'd fixed it. The presentation of the books is back to normal. So yeah, if that's something that interests you about how we did that, then do go have a look at that video, which is not out yet but will be out soon. But yeah, it's just something that I really value, that honesty, in that they didn't kind of go around and talk to anyone else about it. They didn't go and just write it down and not tell me, and then it was something that I didn't fix because I didn't know or I hadn't noticed it. They just came and said, look, this is something, we need to fix it, there's no hard feelings, and we just fixed it and got it sorted and we moved on. And so yeah, I think that's something that I really value in a senior leadership team, is that honesty, is that if there's a problem they can come and tell me about it. Same thing where if there's a good thing they can come and tell you about it, and that's what we're going to move on to next. So the next best thing that I really value about my SLT is that when something goes well, they tell us. It's not always just, oh, can you work on this, can you work on that? It's actually, you know what, if you have an observation and it goes well, they come in and they give us praise. And it's funny how you don't really understand as an adult just how important praise is, but it is so important, and I use it in my lessons all the time. I'm the teacher that's very much full of positivity rather than full of negativity, and I think that comes from my own feelings, where when you have an observation or where you have something where someone's come in and seen something you teach, or I don't know, a learning walk, whatever it might be, when you come out of that and all you get is negative and things to work on, then it makes you feel a bit down, it makes you feel a bit rubbish. And on placements at previous schools, I have had that, where you just come out of it feeling absolute rubbish because you've not had any praise and you've just been told, this isn't right, can you fix it? This isn't right, can you fix this? And so whenever we do an observation or learning walk, we always get, first thing is a great big list of positives, a great big list of things that are going well. There's always bits to work on, there's always bits to fix, and that's part of being a teacher. You're always learning, you're always improving your pedagogy, your teaching style, that kind of thing. So there's always going to be something to work on. But they made sure that there's always a great big list of positives first, and actually say, you know what, guys, you're doing this well, you're doing this well, you're doing this well. And again, it just makes that positive atmosphere. It makes observations not something to fear. It makes learning more not something to worry about, because we all know how we're meant to be teaching, and that comes from the top. And so we just do what we need to do and what we normally do in a lesson, and they see what they're looking for because they've been very honest with us about what they're looking for, and so we produce that in every lesson that we can. So yeah, I think another big one is that, you know what, praise people when things are going right. If it's looking good, if things are going well, give them the praise that they deserve. And again, that's something I've been very lucky to receive throughout the last 4 years, so thank you very much again. And it's something that I've seen in other schools don't always get quite right. Some schools do, but other schools don't. So do have a look, and that's the kind of thing you can ask about interview. What are observations like? How often do they happen? Can I see some feedback from observations? Something like that, just to see what the kind of atmosphere about them is like. Moving on quickly to these observations that we've just spoke about, and that's another point I want to make about what you're looking for in SLT, is that observations are quite a casual, informal thing. They're not something that gets built up. They're not something that your whole teaching career is pinned upon and that is it. They're something that, you know what, they do happen and people do walk around, but there's something that just is part of being a teacher. And so I really appreciate it when a senior leadership team kind of makes it just be like, look guys, you know what, every now and then we'll be wandering around, we'll be observing what you're doing. It's nothing formal, it's nothing scary, it's nothing to be worried about, because if you're doing what we've mentioned about, what we've spoken about and what we've developed together, then it'll be absolutely fine. And I think that's something that it is part of teaching, that you get observed a lot. And my school thankfully doesn't do crazy levels of observations. They just do kind of what I'd guess is the normal amount for most schools that I've seen, but it's never something that I particularly worry about, because we always get told in advance about when they're coming up. We always get told what they're looking for. We always know kind of what time they're coming around, what lessons to be teaching at that point. And so generally everything kind of goes well. And again, like we said earlier about the honesty, if something doesn't go quite so well, they can come and talk to us about it. It's something that during your NQT year, or what is now your ECT year, that first period you have a lot of observations, and that pressure can be really, really intense because you are nervous. I was nervous during my NQT year, but because the school or my SLT team are so good at just relaxing and saying, look, it's going to be all right. When they come into classrooms, they don't stand at the back with a clipboard, arms crossed, writing notes. They come and get involved in the lesson, talk to you, talk to the children. They come in with a smile on the face. That stuff just makes the observation so much more relaxing and so much more kind of like a normal lesson. And that is the whole point of an observation. You're meant to be seeing a teacher teach a normal lesson that they teach on any other day. And so by coming in that informal atmosphere, you can really see that, and you can get the quality of teaching that is in class every single day, not just one trumped up fancy lesson that you get from observation. So again, it's a really good thing where observations, they happen as a teacher, you can't escape them, but if they can be done in the right way, like what we just spoke about, they can be something that can be really valued and useful. Same thing, because I love going to see other teachers and observing other teachers, and so it's something that I like to do, but I like trying to make sure I'm not kind of putting any pressure on them, because I do it as a way to improve myself, not as a way of checking up on anyone else, but as a way of, I want ideas of how I teach and how they teach and what I can pinch from them, basically. So again, it's not something that I want anyone else to be scared about when I come into their lesson. It's just something that I want to, if I ever get the opportunity, to be able to see their ideas and probably steal a few to use myself, because they're that good. The next thing is one of the most important things, and that is that the SLT kind of understand that what you're doing as a teacher and what you're doing working in a school, that is only part of your life, and you have a great big other half of your life, your personal life outside of school, and that also matters really to your family, your hobbies, that kind of stuff, your well-being. That is all really, really important, and a senior leadership team that understands that is absolutely vital, because again, there can be some schools where that kind of focus on your well-being and your mental health and your life outside of the job is just not important to them, and that can lead to some really tricky workload on staff, and it can just get too much. And again, thankfully I've never had to kind of experience that, because my leadership team has always kind of focused on that time out of class, and actually that importance of putting the laptop away, putting work down when you leave school and coming back to it in the morning, and kind of having out of office hours and all that kind of stuff that I might have spoken about in another video. If you want to hear anything about what my school does to focus on teacher wellbeing, do put a question down in the comments below about what you want to know, and I'll try and fill that in for you. But it's just so important that the SLT kind of realizes that teachers and themselves are people, and they have lives outside the job. And I think being a senior leader seems, like I said, I don't have any experience, but what I've heard from talking to my own leadership team, it seems like you have this massive workload, and they need to focus on their own personal lives too, because they've got a lot going on in school, they've got a lot going on outside of school, I'm sure. And so they have to focus on it just as much as teachers do, TAs do, dinner staff do, PE teachers do, whoever it is that you're working alongside. You've all got a lot going on in your personal lives as well. And if that kind of isn't understood and the only focus is on what they do from 9 o'clock till 3 o'clock in school, from 8 o'clock till 5 o'clock in school, whatever time they're in, if that's the only focus from the SLT, then very quickly that becomes kind of a tough relationship to manage, because people have other stresses and other strains and other things going on, be it good or bad, outside of the job. Now again, this kind of thing has been really hard to me this year through having our child. We had a baby boy in October, and it was one of the busiest, most stressful times of my life. The build up to having him, and then after having him, when he was in the kind of special care unit for a little while and trekking back and forth from hospital, it was just absolutely crazy. But the whole time I was so well supported by the senior leadership team. I got to make the decisions that I wanted to do, and they left kind of options up to me on what worked best for me and my family. And it was just such a busy and crazy time, but it ended up coming out really well because of the support I was given and because I had the flexibility to pick and choose what I wanted. And I know if that kind of thing happened again, I'd have those same options. So it's something that, you know, I don't live in fear of what's gonna happen when I go and ask for something, or I go knock on the door and say, I've got this question, I've got this problem, can you help me? I know that they're going to offer the best help they can, and it might not always be that I get the answer I want. You know, there are times when you ask something you can't get it because of budgets or time or whatever it is, but I know that when I go and ask for them, they will do their absolute utmost to help me, and that's something again I really, really value, because it's not like I'm worried about kind of getting told no. If the answer is no and I can't have whatever it is I'm asking for, then that is purely because that is just the way life is in school. Sometimes we can't have everything just as life. So I think, yeah, those are really, really important things to look for as a teacher when you're going to another school and you're looking at senior leadership and wondering whether or not they're going to back you or support you or help you out. Do ask questions about these types of things, and hopefully they'll really help when you come to applying for a job. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and there'll be a new video every Tuesday, every Friday and every Sunday. And as always, I'll see you soon.